thought today we could talk more about oracle cards versus tarot cards because any of you guys who join me for group Reiki on Wednesdays at 8 o'clock on Zoom, it's totally free by the way, we pull cards at the beginning. And I just want to give you more insight as to why I use oracle cards, how I use them, and then teach you how you can use them on your own. Because let's be real, I'm not the only one who can actually give you some insight, okay? You can give yourself insight on your own. You can use oracle cards, you can use tarot cards. So let's jump into the difference between the two. When it comes to oracle decks, they come in a lot of variations, different sizes, different themes, different amount of cards. Like there are so many. And so these are just the decks that I personally have. And I keep getting more and more. So when you come to group Reiki, you typically see me using one of these decks, or I give you the option to pick whatever deck that you like. Now, when it comes to the tarot cards, majority of the tarot card decks are based off of the original Rider's Waite deck, which is this deck right here, and it's a 78 card deck. This deck here is another tarot card deck that's based off of the Rider Waite card deck, but the pictures are definitely different. The names are different. They're not the same as what you see here, right? There's no magician card. There's not like wands and cups and those types of things. So two different styles, but all basically giving us a little bit more insight on ourselves. So let me break down to you what the difference is between an oracle deck and a tarot deck. With a tarot card deck, you're really getting insight on your life journey, your life path, what's happened in your life, what is happening in your life. That's why we have the major arcana and the minor arcana. And one person explained it this way, that the tarot is like the ingredients, whereas the oracle is the main meal. I don't know if I fully agree with that, but it is one way to look at it. And so I personally like to use the tarot card deck to give me a more detailed interpretation as to what's going on in my life. I will tell you with the tarot, it's a language, okay? The tarot card deck is a language. And it definitely takes a little bit of learning to understand what's happening, using the different types of spreads, figuring out the meanings behind the cards, but the tarot card decks in themselves are full of a ton of symbolism. They were meant to be a language, a secret language that was spoken about when spirituality and these types of things weren't as publicly accepted. I do believe with the tarot, it takes a little bit more time to learn it, to practice it, to get accustomed to the cards, but literally anyone can figure out how to learn the tarot, okay? And I'm gonna tell you a secret today. So when it comes to using either of these decks, whether it be the tarot deck or the oracle deck, your intuition is going to be everything, okay? Your intuition is going to help you interpret the card for yourself or for the person that you're reading for. So yes, there might be certain meanings that are like very stock and things like that, but we have to get a bigger picture, especially while using the tarot deck. We want to really look at, well, what's happening in this entire spread? And you may know that a specific card means X, Y, and Z, but when you look at it in the spread, it might have a little bit of a different meaning. And this is when your intuition is going to be talking to you. So how do you know when your intuition is talking to you? What is that voice? What does it sound like? It's in the beginning, you may doubt yourself, okay? You may question your intuition. You may not believe in it or think that it's real. You might be like, oh, this is common sense. I'm just able to somehow figure this out. Your intuition is quiet. And it's these subtle knowings, like you just get an answer, you just have a feeling, you're starting to sense a picture. Something just clicks, right? And like you don't have an explanation as to why this is happening. It's just what you're understanding by looking at this. Like you're looking at something and you just get a feeling come over you. That's receiving intuitive guidance. So the oracle deck and the tarot card deck are both ways, they're tools for you to connect in with spirit, for you to connect in with your higher self, and for you to receive messages and guidance. So sometimes it's nice for us to just receive confirmation. And that's pretty much how I utilize my oracle decks or my tarot decks. It's a way for me to check in, see if I'm on the right path. It's also a way for me to check in and be like, hey, what do I need to know today? What do I need to focus on? Let me show you how I like to pull oracle cards. And I'll also teach you how to pull cards for other people. So with working with oracle decks, I first like to see which deck I feel called to. So we're gonna go with Threads of Fate Lumen Edition Oracle deck. First thing I always do is I take the cards out of the box. I hold the cards in my left hand. I take my right hand, I put it into a fist, and I knock on the cards. So this is clearing the energy that was previously on the cards. The next thing I do is I shuffle the cards, and I shuffle thinking of a question, thinking of an intention. Sometimes my question might be, please give me guidance for today. Please give me more insight onto my career. Please give me guidance on what I should focus on today. Please let me know what I should know. Like, Spirit, please give me insight on what you want me to know, what you want me to remember. What should I focus on today? How should I spend my energy today? Just anything that I might be thinking of. So for right now, we're just gonna shuffle and just think like, Spirit, please give me guidance on what it is I need to hear right now. And so we're gonna shuffle these a few times. You can also shuffle like how you shuffle a normal card deck, like this. But these cards are so beautiful that I personally never shuffle this deck that way. Whereas like with my tarot deck, I definitely do shuffle the cards that way. Also sometimes like the oracle decks can be a little bit bigger size-wise, so it's a little bit more challenging for my hands to really shuffle. So we're just gonna keep on shuffling and just keep thinking, Spirit, please give me guidance today. And so we have a jumper card. A jumper card just means that a card that flew out. And I'm just gonna keep shuffling again. Spirit, please give me guidance. Okay, so when it comes to picking a spread, you could do a 1-card daily card pick. You could do 3 cards, you could do 4 cards. Any deck that you get that has a book is gonna give you instructions on different spreads that you can use. So they have a mapping your internal landscape, a 4-card spread here, a 5-card spread with mirror work. They also have an inquiry, so like you're asking about something in particular, define the situation. And like I said, you can always pull single cards. Another one that a friend of mine had taught me is mind, body, soul. So you can pull a card with your mind, your body, and soul in mind. You can also just ask, how many cards should I pull today? So before we pull our cards, we're gonna split the piles into 3 and just get a blessing and keep thinking about our question. Spirit, please give me guidance on what it is that I should focus on today. And then what I'll do is after I split it in 3, I will switch back up the order in which I put the cards back. I'll spread them out with my right hand, and then I'll take my left hand and I'll scan the deck. Sometimes with this, I will close my eyes, and sometimes I'll leave my eyes open, but I'm just trying to feel where I am the most called to when it comes to these cards. So like I'm called right here. I'm gonna go with this back card. And I'm only gonna pick one other card just for time's sake. We're gonna go with this front one. Okay, so here are our 3 cards. I personally like to leave them turned over, and then I'll flip them over. So the 3 cards I get is Get Wild, Higher Perspective, and Self-Love. And so I'll turn these around for you guys so that you guys can see them. And then next thing I'll do is I'll take the book that comes with the deck, I'll find that page, and I'll read it. And it's pretty much that simple. And as you can see, I'm sitting on the floor. So a lot of times when I'm pulling cards, I am on the floor. It's just where I feel most grounded and my best, and it just helps put me in a certain space. But let's talk about pulling for somebody else. So if you're gonna pull cards for someone else, you ask them what kind of deck they want you to pull from, or you just say, hey, I'm gonna pull you cards from this deck. While you do the same type of thing. You take the cards, you knock off the energy, you shuffle through it, but when you're shuffling through, you're thinking of the other person. You're connecting in with their energy, and you can say to them, hey, think of a question, think of something that you want guidance on, whatever. And they just think it in their mind. They don't actually tell you it. So you're shuffling. Sometimes it can be helpful if you're face to face with the person. It helps you connect in with their energy more, but you also can just think of them. You don't have to see them. You don't have to be on video call with them. You don't have to have a picture of them in front of you. I do this a lot on Facebook where I'll ask people who wants a card pull, and I'll focus on that person's name. So you're just connecting into their energy, shuffling the cards. You're gonna do the same thing. You're gonna split the deck, bring it back together, and then just see what you feel called to. And whatever it is that you feel called to, trust it. And send them that card, or let them know, like, hey, this is the card that I pulled for you. And I promise you, they're gonna be shocked, okay? So many times I have done this and people are like, oh my goodness, you just hit home. Holy crap. Yes, this is exactly what I'm going through. Oh my goodness, I really needed to hear this. And so for me with oracle cards, what ends up happening a lot is I come to tears. Whether it be, especially when somebody else is reading for me. Like if someone else pulls me a card and it hits home for me, it always brings me to tears because it's just like confirmation. And it's feeling like I've been seen or I've been heard. And I don't know why, like a lot of times I just get tearful. But anyway, pulling cards is something that's really fun. It's really easy. I want you guys to feel encouraged to pull cards. And I do have a special giveaway happening for you guys. So I have 2 oracle decks that I'm going to be giving away in the upcoming videos. So definitely subscribe to my channel. I hope this is helpful though. I want you guys to understand, like, one of my biggest goals in everything that I'm doing is I want to help awaken the power inside of you. I want you to understand that you have the capability to do this. Okay, I'm not doing anything special when it comes to pulling an oracle card for you. Only thing I'm doing is connecting into your energy. That's about it, okay? And I'm allowing whatever's supposed to come through. I'm not controlling it. I'm just letting spirit talk through us by talking through the cards. So I just want you to recognize that you have this power. You can do this. You are able to hear your own intuition. You're able to connect in with spirit, to divinity. Like, just start practicing and having fun. And the more fun you can have with oracle decks, the more fun it's going to be in general. So just buy yourself a deck, whatever one that you feel called to. There are so many out there, and every day just pull yourself a card. And if you start to become obsessive, then maybe don't do it every day. But really start to allow yourself to rely on your inside voice and your own inner intuition rather than looking for external validation. And oracle cards and tarot cards are a tool that helps us with that. It helps us to reconnect into our inner self. So I hope this video was helpful. If it was, please be sure to give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and I hope you guys have an amazing day. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. I appreciate your time, and I'll see you soon.